Hello, Redlow friends. Welcome back to another episode of Hello, Redlow. I'm your host, Terry Mullen, and I'm so happy you're here. If you're new here, welcome. Redlow is older. I'm older, and perhaps you are too. I show up here each week trying to make a difference in our lives by stepping forward one step at a time, helping us navigate these life transitions, overcome obstacles, and rediscover who we are now in this season of life with confidence. So sit back, listen in, and let's step forward. Love is the decoder that helps us figure out who we are. Powerful, isn't it? That's a quote from Marcus Buckingham. And if you're not familiar, think StrengthsFinder. Yes, that powerful book and assessment test that we're all familiar with. He is a renowned expert in strength-based leadership and personal development. And I had the privilege of hearing him speak this past weekend at a conference. And wow, he is brilliant, he's articulate, he's dynamic. And if you ever have the opportunity to hear him speak, run and go listen. Really powerful. And he's doing some great work right now. He's talking about love in business and love in relationships, and how we have become so fractured. We're missing love in our life and in our culture and in our world. And since he worked for the Gallup polls for many years, he's very data and research based. And so he's been doing a lot of research about love and the impact it has in our businesses, in our schools, in our personal lives, and in our globe. And the data is astounding what he's finding. And the speech that we heard was really deep and profound and full of data. But I'm just going to touch on some things that really impacted me and what I want to share with you today, especially as we step into this Thanksgiving holiday. So what about love? Buckingham says that most of us don't even know the truth of what we really love. Just think about that for a moment. It's really true. We don't know what our real passions are, what engages us, and what makes us thrive in our work, our jobs, schools, our businesses, and in our culture, right? And probably even in our families. Many of those things are focused on making us conform, right? Now, I am an outside-the-box kind of girl, and I share this very openly in my book, Step Forward. And I also have an assessment in there about helping women slow down long enough to figure out what's next. What do you really love, especially now in this season of life? And that's the journey I took. I had to slow down, stop pleasing, stop doing for everyone else, stop going along, because there was this internal war going on, because I realized I had my own ideas. I had things I wanted to do, and I had to step outside that structure and not conform and find what set my soul on fire. And that's what I do now. I help women find that passion inside of them, because self-love really is discovering our own innate talents and abilities, right? And it's having a deeper understanding to what our strengths are. And that's a lot of where Buckingham comes from with his StrengthsFinder Assessment. And if you haven't done it, I highly recommend it. But maybe you're in that place too of wondering what's next, and maybe you feel lost. Maybe you need to take some time and just step away this Thanksgiving holiday and just slow down. Allow your mind to wander. Allow that creativity to seep in, and just think about those things that really light you up. There's a world-renowned neuroscientist and researcher on creativity. Her name is Alice Flaherty, and I think she's out of Harvard. But she's done a lot of studies on creativity, and she says that our mind is the most creative when it's at rest. And actually, it's a combination of several things. It's when it's at rest, when it has that dopamine, like if you're exercising, and when you're doing just mindless activity. So that's why we often get those downloads and those creative ideas when we're cooking, or we're exercising, or on a walk, or in nature, or driving. And often people get ideas in the shower. And that's why, because our mind is at rest. We can't be creative. We're in the middle of doing. It has to be when we're away and we're relaxed and doing kind of nothing, like wandering in the park, right? But Buckingham goes on to say that love is the most powerful human emotion that we all have. It is the source of all creativity. It's collaboration, it's insight, it's excellence. and it has been drained from our lives. Now, he went on to say a lot about this topic, and it was full of data. But one of my key takeaways is that we live in a loveless society. It's fractured. And if we just pause long enough, just look around, listen to the news, right? Look at the responses that people have. People are so reactive. And we see this fracture in our personal lives. We see it in our schools. We see it in our businesses. We see it in families. And we definitely see it in our world. So maybe we need to step forward and rebuild our life with love. Interestingly enough, before I started Hello Redlow, I actually created an Instagram. That was my pseudonym, Build Your Life with Love. Because at that season of life, I had gone through some really hard things. I was hurting, and I just wanted to put myself out there to touch other people's lives and to rebuild my own life with love. And I felt that as I put my content out, as I inspired others, I could make a difference. And as I did that, I inspired myself. And all of that became stepping stones to my book Step Forward, and then this podcast here at Hello Redlow. And I am on a mission to make a difference in others' lives one step at a time. I don't have it all figured out. I certainly am far from perfect. I make lots of mistakes, and I try to learn from them. But more than anything, I try to come from a place of love and try to inspire you and be authentic and transparent and vulnerable and help you step forward with your life. So as I sat there listening to Marcus Buckingham speak, I was reminded about a post that I did called Let Love Lead. And I'm going to post it again on Facebook because it was really kind of powerful and insightful at that time. It was during the pandemic, and we were all feeling so uncertain, right? And I just heard these words, let love lead. And I just want to inspire you today to let love lead. Think about what love is in your life. How do you let love in? How do we build love in our lives? How do we love those who challenge us? How do we show up at work? How do we serve our families, our friends, our clients, and our business associates? How does love filter in our business? Because that was the other thing that Marcus Buckingham spoke about, is that the world needs to put love back in businesses. We need to build loving companies where people don't just feel like a transaction, that they actually feel seen and heard and loved and valued and reminded that they belong. And that was another aha moment. I say this at the end of every podcast, and there's a reason for that. I want to bring love in all that I do, and I want you to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel loved, to feel valued, and to be reminded that you belong. We all want to be reminded that we belong, don't we? That we're not just another transaction, that we're not just a head count, that we're not just a frequent flyer mile. And students want to be seen more than just a GPA, right? Does that resonate? We all need to start looking through a loving lens. And the flip side for me is that it doesn't mean that you're a doormat or a pushover. I actually believe very strongly, especially now after going through really hard things, that love is communication. Love is really communication. It's open, it's honest, it's vulnerable. It doesn't hide, it doesn't manipulate. Love is not rude. Love listens. Love has a calm confidence. Love stands up for what's right. Love has values. Well, it kind of makes me think about a Bible verse. It says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, or I would say wrongdoing, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, it always perseveres. Powerful, isn't it? And I got thinking about self-love as well. It's not just loving others, but it's loving ourselves. And for me, this has been a huge part of my journey. Love is speaking your truth. Love is using your voice to stand up for yourself. And you can do it with kindness and grace. You can still love others and disagree. And isn't that what's missing in our lives as well, and in our culture and in our world? We've forgotten how to lovingly disagree. I've had to make some really hard decisions lately. Who I'm letting in my life, what I'm cutting out, what's filling me up, what's draining me. And it's been so hard for me, honestly. But this has been part of my growth. Finding my voice, speaking my truth, honoring myself, and doing it with love. And if you're struggling with that, I'm encouraging you today to keep stepping forward. And this is where we're headed in 2024 with Hello Redlow. I'm going to help you find your voice, speak your truth, take all the pain that you've experienced, those different painful moments in your life, and turn it into a purpose. That's where the power resides. Go be a light. Take that mess and turn it into a masterpiece. Because I know that there's someone out there that needs the hope that you have to offer from your experience. They need to know that they can get on the other side of whatever that is that you went through. Whether that was a fractured marriage, a fractured relationship, whether it was a health crisis, whether it was a financial situation, a job loss, whatever that is that you've experienced. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily really dramatic, but whatever it is that you have overcome and you have found tools to get on the other side of and help someone through a situation. Wow, what a light and what a gift of love that is, to share your story and share your experience and offer hope to not only a broken world, but a loveless world. And on that note, in closing, I say that love serves as a powerful mirror, reflecting aspects of ourselves that maybe we're not even fully aware of. But I think how we see the world is how we see ourselves. And that's the mirror that reflects, right? When we give love, we receive love. Love is not weak. Love is a strength. Love is the decoder to help you figure out who you really are. Until we meet again, may you continue to step forward with your life one step at a time. May you know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, you are valued, and you belong. May you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm so grateful for each one of you for showing up here, for listening to this podcast. And it is my hope that you feel that gratitude on the other side of this microphone and that you feel the love in my voice today. Until we meet again, may God truly bless you. Thank you so much for being here today. I am so grateful for each one of you. And if you want to connect more on a little bit deeper level, just DM me. I always respond to my Facebook DMs on Messenger. And I will be having another class on Tuesday, December 5th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's called Stand Up, Speak Out, Find Your Confidence on Camera. And it's all about having that confidence to speak. And I'd love to have you join the class. It's lots of fun. It's one of my favorites that I do. And as I say at the end of every podcast, I'm not a therapist. I am just a woman with a passion to make a difference in the world. And I share my heart and my experiences with each one of you. God bless.